Describe yourself with 5 words.
Fun, enthusiastic, sometimes boring. Wait, that's 5 more. Yeah, sure.
What is one thing about yourself that most people don't know?
I wouldn't know either.
Is the stereotype that debaters are boring people who have no life true?
Sometimes. I try to disprove it, but...
Do you think all debaters are smart Alex?
Do you think so? I don't know really, but I try not to be one, and I'm sure all of them are nice people, so...
What is one thing about yourself that most people don't know? Did I ask that already?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Did you become a debater to feel empowered?
Not really.
What is the one thing about debating that you like best?
Fun. Yeah, fun.
Last question. The most important quality that a debater should have is?
Willingness and passion. Wait, that's not one.
Describe yourself in 1 sentence.
I am an interesting person, I hope.
Did you become a debater to feel smart?
No, I became a debater because I like debating.
What is one thing about debating that you like best?
The fact that you have to argue with people.
Are debaters generally quarrelsome?
No, I think that most of them just like to talk.
Do you like to talk a lot?
Yes.
Do you get teased about it?
No.
What is one thing about yourself that most people don't know?
That I can actually speak Chinese.
Tell us 1 sentence in Chinese.
我爱你. Wait. 我会讲华语.
Is the stereotype that debaters are boring people who have no life true?
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome back. And now we talk to the debaters from the Ministry of Finance Debate Challenge. So, what have you learned most? What is the most important lessons that you have learned from the finance, the challenge debates that you have done? So maybe we start from this side.
Yeah.
Okay, David.
The 4 things that you have.
That's one thing now. 1 lesson.
One word. Macroeconomics. I had to brush up on that a lot.
What about it? Something else?
Oh, you want me to elaborate?
Now he's playing coy.
I did a debate on the reduction of GST on essential goods, so of course I had to look at taxes and how they affect spending and how the different players interact, and and how this affects the economy. So I had to brush up on that. Then I had to learn it first, then brush up on it for the debate.
You don't think econs?
No, I do, but it's good that it coincided that I was learning about macroeconomics this month and the debates are this month, so I'm literally like 1 page ahead in the textbook when it comes to these debates, so I'm very fortunate.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah. For me, it was learning how to debate in a British parliamentary style, because usually ours is by world school style, so it's just 3 speakers, and either 6 or 8 minutes each. But for this one, it's 4 speakers on each side and 5 minutes each. So it's very different how you debate, how you respond, especially how you condense your arguments within that time frame. It was an interesting experience.
So learning to be succinct,
Yes.
and then just bringing
concise,
the points across. Oh, good experience. Yeah.
For me, I guess it was more about learning about the different groups in society, because my debate concerned, my particular speech had to concern itself a lot with foreign workers, and I had to spend hours in school grappling with who foreign workers actually were. And it sounds like a simple thing, but then we talked about employment passes, work permits, whether or not potential immigrants or expats fell into which category. So yeah, it was learning about the different types of people in our society.
Like different strata in the society there.
I wouldn't really say strata, but I would classify them more as groups, because strata indicates some sort of hierarchy, which I don't really want to concede. So
Okay, yeah.
As for me, I felt that the most important takeaway was that I kind of appreciated the kind of struggles that our finance ministry goes through coming up with a budget. I mean, it's not easy to debate, and I guess their job is many times harder than us, because they actually have some responsibility. They screw up. If we screw up, then we lose. But if they screw up, yeah.
The whole country collapses.
Yeah, so like what Nicholas said, you also have to consider a lot of different groups, and the finance ministry also has to consider the welfare of each and every group of society, and that's not easy to find a solution that benefits everybody.
True. How about you?
Yeah, a continuation of what Glendon said is that, well, sometimes it comes to weighing two equally important groups. For example, my debate was about whether the needs of the elderly or the needs of the young should take precedence. And, if you look at it from a very philosophical, moral, not to say that the MOF is immoral, but to just look at it from a very layman's point of view, both groups are equally important. How on earth could you expect anyone to prioritize one group over the other? But, having to debate about the motion made me realize that there are many limits to how much can actually be done. And when it comes to that, then it has to be not only a cost-benefit analysis on what is best for the country, but what is best for the people as well. And it's definitely a challenge.
Benjamin?
I learned how to explain and justify the most unstraightforward and illogical things ever, because I was debating against a GST decrease, and I was to represent rich people. And I thought to myself, who on earth would object to a GST cut, given that we raised it again and again and again? So wouldn't it be quite commonsensical that we would want a GST cut? So it was quite hard to grapple with, because why on earth would anyone object to a GST cut? So we eventually found a way to explain why rich people won't want a GST cut, though we still don't really buy that they won't want a GST cut. I think they do. They really do.
So one question, did you win?
I'm not going to answer that.
I know anyway.
Well, these two gentlemen over here were actually on opposing teams. So, how was the experience like fighting with each other? And I saw the
There were some fireworks.
Some fireworks, some sparks going on.
Oh, nah. As in, I've known David since I was in Sec 2. We've debated against each other competitively and on the side. No, we're still good friends after all, because it's just an activity.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. Debate is a game. It's all fake. It has no effects on the real world. It's akin to intellectual self-gratification. It's all right. Once you step off the debate podium, you go back to real life, and it's all right.
So you're saying you're playing a role?
Of course.
In debate,
it's
right?
an act. It's an act. It's a performance.
Yes, like a drama,
It's a job. Do the rest agree?
Yeah.
In a way, it's like virtual reality. I mean, it is, because you're arguing about you're arguing about things which on a normal day-to-day basis don't seem to affect you that much. And but it's good, of course, to go and read up on all these things and have a lot of insights. I'm sure it'll be good. It is good. It's good.
That's the politically correct answer.
I'll kind of be the killjoy, because I do believe that debate has some sort of a higher role in society. No, I'm not saying... I think David will agree with me when I elaborate, but I'm not saying that debates is going to change the world the next day, but I do think that debates has a role in raising awareness among us little people. And that this awareness does contribute to some sense or energy that can be very strong often. Perhaps the sentiment of the people at that time can be changed through debates, and the vivifying of truth through collision of error, which is something debate does very often.
You stole that line.
Number one, I bet you stole that from a book about debating. Number two, I like your Hegelian stuff. I give a thesis, you give an antithesis. Now let's try and construct a synthesis. Okay. So, yes, debate is important. However, when you are debating, it's okay if you lose. It's alright.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, okay. So
胜败乃是兵家常事，对吗？
当然
I understood it.
No comment.
I mean, it's common. You win some, you lose some. If you want to try, right? But Sarah, what do you have to say?
I think there's a difference between personal, what you feel personally from the debate. I mean, if you lose, if you win, it doesn't really matter. But more of like the higher significance that debate has in society. I mean, it's quite obvious that it does have some significance, because presidential debates, elections, Obama, McCain, debates are always a central issue. So it does help. Yes, there's significance.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you guys mentioned just now, right? You guys have to argue against something that you personally, believe in. Okay.
Or may not believe
or may not
like
believe in.
what Benjamin mentioned. Yeah.
Yes. So what is the strategy, to psycho yourself that you believe in this, you believe in this?
Oh, don't have an opinion. Don't have an opinion. When you have an opinion, you can't win.
Okay.
So you have to void yourself
Yeah,
of any.
I have no opinion whatsoever on anything in life, other than favorite food and stuff like that.
Does it work?
Oh, for me, what happened was that we once had this debate, and my side had to argue that Obama was bad, and so initially I didn't think so. So when we first started prepping for the motion, I kept going, "We're doomed! We're doomed! We're going to lose." By the end of our prepping time, I was, "America is doomed!" So it worked.
So you actually convinced yourself.
Yeah.
The Obama is bad.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh no, America's doomed! America's doomed!"
I guess sometimes for me you have to just detach yourself from the issue and whatever personal opinion you have about it is you are doing a job. It's not something that you may personally believe in, but you still have to. It's kind of like a role play. You're representing that particular side, like how a lawyer represents his client, and he may not necessarily believe in what his client does, but the lawyer is being professional, is doing his job, and I guess it applies to everyone here.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually do agree very much with Glendon. I think it's, though I don't like to use the phrase detachment, it's a semantic thing, I guess. But it's more of being able to recognize that this is something some people in the world believe in. And in the playing of this role in the debate, it only is fair to them and to everyone else that is going to watch the debate that you give yourself wholly to this role. So it's some sort of role playing with a more philosophical tinge.
Immersing yourself, right?
For the good of the debate.
I think again it's a difference between what you personally believe in, because I can have my personal opinions, my personal views, but when I go onto the floor, what I'm really concerned about is just arguing, the joy of arguing for something, even if you may stand against it in real life. Yes, and formulating arguments, doing cases with your team, I think that's what keeps me debating, not so much my personal opinion.
The art of argument.
I think it is rather therapeutic to realize that sometimes our opinions are based on the most mindless and idiotic of reasons, and that it is possible for ourselves to be wrong. The good thing about debates is that you have forced to think of the both sides of an issue, and you realize that both sides will have a legitimate case. And so when you do debate, okay, it's a bit of a humble you have to humble yourself and realize that actually it is possible for people to disagree with you, and you to disagree with other people. And the good news is that if the debate is good, both sides arguing wholly for their contrasting side, then the audience will have a very exciting time, because they get to see two opposing views, and then they're forced to do the Hegelian synthesis themselves. Woohoo! Yes. Okay. Enough philosophy from me.
Okay. So you guys had to take on roles as finance minister and so on and so forth. So what are the dilemmas that you face, to fight a certain case?
None whatsoever. I was representing the middle class, and solidarity. Okay.
Yeah, for me there was no dilemma at all, because I was representing the EDB in arguing against environmental taxes. So it's quite easy. I mean, it would affect our investment, foreign investment and so on. Yes.
Okay.
For me it was also kind of easy. My stance was one very sympathetic to the people that were suffering in Singapore, so it's easy to throw yourself into it and go all rhetoric-y and say these people do not deserve to suffer. So it's the intuitive point, I guess.
I was representing investors and global market leaders in supporting short-term business assistance measures, the kind of measures that Mr. Tama talked about in his speech just now. So I guess it's quite intuitive that investors would want to keep their money, like if I invest in this company ABC, I don't want ABC to fall immediately and I lose my capital and whatnot. So it was quite I guess. But the other team was worse, I guess. Public, what's that? They're representing public and private citizens, and they were arguing against keeping their own jobs, which was quite interesting.
Against keeping their own jobs?
Against short-term business measures, which would help them in some way.
Yeah. Okay.
Here?
Oh, I was extremely fortunate because firstly, I was a parent in a debate arguing that the young should take precedence. Secondly, it helped feed my overly active maternal instinct, so it was really easy to just be all, save my kid!
But that means neglect the elderly.
No dilemma over there. No.
How about grandparents?
For me, you've already heard my gripe with my position, but that was okay. The bigger problem though was that I've done this style of debating before, British parliamentaries at a tournament, and first we had more time. Normally in a international circuit, it's 7 minutes long speeches, but more importantly, they don't assign you a role, so I'm more used to flexibility. So the very fact that the role existed annoyed me a bit, because I wanted freedom to argue whatever I wanted, and it adds the thrill to it, because in a normal tournament you have 15 minutes to prepare. You have no idea what the team before you is going to say. You can't repeat what they're going to say. So if they said something that you prepared, you need to scrap it immediately, and within 2 minutes come up with something new. There's a thrill to it, and I like that thrill, so I want it.
Thinking on your feet, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's a thrill. Don't succeed, but thrill.
Okay. So we have extremely very brilliant debaters over here, but what happens if we put them out of their comfort zone and to get them to be reporters talking to the public about the budget? So stay tuned to see how they fare.